everybody, what is going on today? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about what all of the attributes for hitters actually mean and what they do here in MLB The Show 23. I'm going to show you guys everything that they actually do. But first, you guys do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. You guys make sure you got those notifications on also so you never miss out on the live streams most days right here at 10 a.m. Central, as well as videos and shorts uploading. That way you can join me and Nugget here for a fun live stream some afternoon. So we hope to see you in there. But let's go ahead and hop right into this here. We're going to dive and go look at some player cards. All right, you guys. So what do all of these attributes mean that you see on cards? All right. It used to be that you had the other quirks on there that would show you that were the non-active quirks on cards in years past. And those would actually show you what the attributes did. So if you're new to the game or you don't know what all the attributes do, they change typically from year to year a little bit here and there. We had a big change this year. We're going to go over it. It involves the batting clutch here in this one. So let's go ahead and cover them and get started though. The contact attribute is going to be the first one that we're going to talk about. All right, this one on this card is 119, 125 right now because we got him at P4 here for this Chipper Jones. But the contact attribute is going to control the size of your PCI, all right? Not the outer PCI, but the inner PCI, not the center, but the inner, so the middle one technically. The inner PCI, it's going to control the size of it while you're facing other pitchers, all right? The thing that counteracts that, and we'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit more because we're going to go in depth with the hitting, all the pitching attributes, the pitching attributes. The thing that counteracts that is going to be hits per 9, all right? The only difference in this year's game, where it's a lot different than it has been in past years, is that contact attribute is not always in effect. If you guys aren't aware, the actual batting clutch attribute, which is right here with the CLT on it here at the bottom, it's 121 here for Chipper at P4. That batting clutch attribute takes over when you have runners in scoring position. So if you have a runner on second or third base, that's why it's imperative to get them there sometimes. That runner on second or third base, then the batting clutch number is the number that is now your contact number and the size of your PCI. So you have a much better chance of getting a hit with a little bit larger PCI, a little more plate coverage. Obviously, that's what that is, plate coverage indicator. So it's beneficial no matter what difficulty or what interface that you're on as well. Even if you're using directional or timing or something like that, you're going to be more likely to get a hit because that clutch number is going to take over altogether. All right. So that's the contact and clutch. That's the big change that we've had for the year. That's the most important one. The power number, pretty self-explanatory, right? How much power you got, how much pop you got in the bat. So that's going to explain how you get home runs and guys that are contact hitters or power hitters. That's where that comes into play. Now, what it's going to actually do is it's going to increase the size of the center PCI for you so that you can get a better square up on a ball. All right. So the center of the PCI will be a little bit bigger on these guys that have more, typically on most of them. It depends on what PCI you're using, but on the majority of the PCIs, that center PCI will be a little bit larger. And it gives you a little bit more of a surface area to square up the ball and perfectly get those perfect hits that travel out of the park. All right. For the big power numbers. All right. So that's what your power one's going to control. All right. Your vision is actually going to be your timing window. Your vision is your timing window. So the higher vision number you have, the more of a timing window you actually have in the game. As far as when you take an early swing, if you've got like a more successful chance of having that early swing be beneficial for you, or a late swing as well. And your timing window is just going to be a little bit larger. You got a little bit more space to get a perfect in that zone as your timing's coming through. So that's what the vision attribute is going to control. Now it also controls, and this started last year in MLB The Show 21, or excuse me, in 22. I got my years mixed up. In 22 is when it started. But they made the vision attribute actually do what the plate discipline attribute used to do as well. So what it also controls on top of that, it also controls how effective you are at check swings. All right. So that's your plate discipline, is how effective you are at check swings, how good your hitter is at being able to go around or stop it from going around. You can always double tap the button for check swings. That's how you actually do those. Make sure you're full pressing the button if you feel that you're check swinging too often. Check swings are a little broken in this year's game. It feels they're not very, I don't want to say not accurate. Well, they're not accurate, but they're also not consistent. They're not consistent. So you can have the same exact check swing 2 swings in a row, and one time it says you went around for a strike. The next time it says that you didn't and it's a ball. That's a little bit finicky right now. Hopefully maybe that we get an update, a game update or something eventually along the way, but we haven't yet. So that's what your vision does. Now your plate discipline as a result of that does nothing if we're still going by what they did in 22, and we've heard no changes into 23 as far as that goes. So the plate discipline attribute used to affect more. It doesn't now. 125 on this card, great, means really nothing though, in all honesty. So it doesn't really do anything on this one. All right, the bunt number. The bunt number is obviously your ability to square around and just lay a bunt down to move a runner over, a sack bunt or something like that. Your drag bunt is debunt. That's the next one. That's the one you want higher up if you're actually going to try to bunt for hits. If you're trying to bunt for hits, you want the highest number you can get out of that possible. Your durability does nothing in Diamond Dynasty. It does nothing in Diamond Dynasty. It may affect cards in other places, but not here, or players other places as far as like Road to the Show or franchise and things like that. But in Diamond Dynasty, you don't have your hitters getting tired and having their like stamina wear down, so their durability doesn't need to be high. So I don't really know why this attribute's on here other than maybe for simulated games or something like, I don't know. But there's really no reason for it to even still be on the cards, but it still is. Here we go. We got the fielding number next. Your fielding number is literally going to control, this fielding attribute is going to control the actual color of the shield that you have on the field. So if this is a 90 or higher, you will have a diamond shielded player on the field. If it's at an 85, they're still going to be gold. All right. It's not like the actual cards are rated. So always keep that in mind. If you're ever wondering why it says like you got diamond defense, but he doesn't have diamond defense, that's what that is. So this is still gold defense for Chipper right there at his primary and secondary position as of this moment. So once you get him paralleled, he'll still play gold defense, but not diamond, even though it says diamond. It's just that his attributes across the board are pretty good. He's pretty much a diamond defender is what they would consider it, but it doesn't reflect it on the actual card, so it's kind of strange. The next one there is going to be his arm strength. All right, that's your arm strength. That's how effective you are at throwing the ball across the field. Now, he's a third baseman. You want it to have a little bit higher number there. Obviously, your shortstops want it to have a higher number there. Your right fielder, you want it to have a high arm strength as well. Your center fielder, maybe a little bit less, and your left fielder doesn't have to be nearly as much. The reason for the outfielders that way is the longest throw that you'll make in the outfield is from right field to third base. So you want that right fielder to have that increased arm strength. Now, the next one is very important this year, more so than ever before, and it's your arm accuracy, all right? We all know what the difference is with button accuracy and throwing this year. It's been a lot different. And I personally use buttons. I haven't had any issues really this year. Most of my throws are not errors. I know a lot of people are still struggling from time to time there with the button accuracy thing. If you're not paying close attention, you can have an error as one slip out because you didn't hit it in the right spot. So the accuracy meter, though, is going to control how big your window is on the throw accuracy meter there. And how slow it possibly moves. So how easy it is for you to hit green, in other words, on it. All right. Now the reaction number. Reaction is huge this year. Huge this year because in the outfield especially. In the infield, not as much, but it still is very, very important. The reaction number is how quickly they will turn and actually go to field the baseball. All right. So, in the outfield, you get a fly ball hit. Sometimes if you don't have a good reaction number, they're going to take their sweet time getting to the ball, and they're also going to get a bad jump to the ball. They might turn the wrong direction or come in when it needs to go and they need to run further out. So, but that reaction number, try to have it as high as possible. That's what that affects. So you really want the cards that have the most of them, the highest you possibly can. Obviously, that's pretty common sense. But there are some of these attributes that'll mean more to some players than others. So speed, stealing, and base running aggression. We actually covered that in our stealing video the other day. We'll just kind of cover them real briefly. The speed number is going to control, obviously, your actual general speed, the actual quickness of the runner. The steal number is going to be what controls your jump while you're trying to steal bases. And the base running aggression number is going to control like how quickly you get out of the box, how quickly you round bases, how quickly you turn around and go back to bases, things like that. So always keep those in mind. We go into a more depth in the base stealing video. You guys can check it out also here on the channel. But that's it. That's the hitting attributes for your hitters right there. That's them in a nutshell. Quirks this year are all active quirks. So any of these quirks are in addition to your to the attributes on the card. Just kind of keep these in mind. One of the important ones is that night player one. That one does a lot for your hitters as well. But these aren't attributes. These are just little additions. Some of the cards have them. Some of them don't. So always pay attention to that when you're picking up cards in the market possibly as well. But I hope this video helps you guys out. I hope it helps to explain how the attributes actually function and work here in MLB The Show. Y'all do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button for me. Subscribe down there to the channel, man. Subscribe. Don't forget to join us here for the live streams 10 a.m. Central so you can have some fun with myself and old Nugget here as we grind through MLB The Show this year, all right? I appreciate it, guys. Thanks, everybody. Peace.